Welcome back to another episode of Luke Talks, bros. Hello, my name is Phillip and I'm going to teach you how to music, even though that is improper grammar, but however you need to interpret it to whatever, then yeah, just do that. Alright, so yeah, there are in music in general, there are, 7 different notes. There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But then it goes back to A, which that note becomes what's called an octave. So say we have A here. The octave, so it's the same note, but it has a higher frequency, or basically it's what's called an octave higher. So that's one of the things too. If you ever hear octaves, that's what we're talking about. It's just the same note, just higher or lower than the note that it should be. Then let's see. So then there were called, in between all these different notes, there's what's called sharps and flats. So say you take A. So there would be like a sharp would be the note higher up from it, or like a note higher up from it. So that'd be a sharp. But then the flat would be from that'd be the note below it. So it'd be and then on a piano though, the sharps and flats are what are the black keys, and the thing is too with sharps and flats, it is kind of weird because a flat of one one note can be a sharp of another note. So say you have G here. So A flat would also be G sharp, and then A sharp would also be B flat. So it's just kind of a weird little thing like that. But then, although here's one little tidbit here. So between so between B and C and E and F, there is no sharps or flats between it, because here's B and this is C. So if you say B sharp, that's a music joke, because B sharp is C, and the same thing with C flat. It's the same thing. So that's just music joke. And the same thing with E. So you have E on the string here, then F would be here. So if you ever hear anything, so just to recap, there's no F or C sharps, or no F or C flats, and there's no E or B flats, or B sharps, my bad. So no F or C flats, or no A or no E or B sharps. That just doesn't exist. And you may get somebody trying to confuse you that way. And then this next subject doesn't really have to do much with the guitar necessarily, but there's in music generally there's what are known as treble and bass clefs. So basically, or clefs, my bad, not cliffs, clefs. Anyway, so the only difference really between the treble and a bass clef is where the note starts. Because when you have a treble clef, you start on the 5 lines, and basically I think way down below here where there's no notes, that would be C. And then I believe, let's see here, I think that this one starts with E, then goes F, G, A, B, C, and it just goes on like that. Basically, and then with I believe with the bass clef, it starts the very top, the very bottom one starts with G. So there's not really much of a difference. It's just where it starts. So that's kind of, if you're reading sheet music, you get basically if you see something with a weird little squiggly like that and like a colon, that's what's called a bass. That's a bass clef. And then for the treble clef, it's this if you see a little squiggly that looks kind of like the and symbol, then that's a treble clef. So that's one thing that's how you read it. Let's see. And then also this probably sort of tied in more with the other notes, or with note section, but there's what's called whole and half notes. I was trying to talk about what are the whole half note, half quarter, 16th, whatever you want to call it, or whatever like it is. But before I have to talk about that, I have to talk about time signature. So what a time signature is essentially like, okay, so it's basically how many beats in a particular measure. So say, like, so most songs are what are called 4 notes. So it's 4 notes per measure. So basically, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't like it. The tempo doesn't matter much, or basically how fast doesn't matter, but it's more of how many notes you hit in that. So, and then there's what's called 3/4, which is you can think of it as like a kind of like waltz kind of thing. So if you know how to do a waltz, basically it's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's not. So it's one. You had 1 note less per measure than you do like a 4/4, so like 4/4. But then there's a whole bunch of different kinds of measure like this that get super crazy. Like there is what was it? There's one particular, there's what's called 6/8, which is about the same sort of thing. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or in the case if you know, most people know the song like Pink Floyd's Money. So that one's what's called. It's called 7/8, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and yeah, the time signatures get weirder and harder for like whatever you do, because there's also 9/8, 13, 16, I believe, and it just gets weirder and weirder, especially with different kinds of music. I think jazz in particular gets really weird, but we're not talking about that so much. But yeah, but anyways, most songs are in 4/4. Majority of songs are in 4/4. So that kind of simple. Like I'd start with all the 4/4 stuff before you do anything else, because otherwise you're just gonna end up confusing yourself, and that's not very fun. And okay, so then. Yeah, well, I've talked about that. Now I can get to talk to about what are called whole, quarter, and half, and whatever notes. So a whole note. Let's start with the whole note. Whole note, like when you look on, it more applies to sheet music than tab music. So when you see a whole note on a sheet music or a piece of sheet music, it's just a circle, like a hollow circle. That's all it is. But basically, what that means is for whatever time signature you have, you basically that note plays for the whole like measure. So if it's like So a whole note would be bum, bum, and then basically so you play for a whole measure. And then there's what's called a half note, which that plays for half of the measure. So you can get twice as much as a whole note in. So bum, or so let me try that again. Bum bum. Wait a second. I'm messing this up. Bum bum. So. And then there's what's quarter notes, where it's basically, Okay, so one thing on the two, when you look on sheet music, like a half note looks like a circle again, sort of, but it has a little stick hanging out of it. Quarter note looks like a filled in circle with a stick hanging out of it. So they look similar, it's just the half note's hollow. And quarter note is basically it's playing the whole note, so it's playing like every beat to the measure, essentially. So it's one note. So it's 4 notes for every measure. So bum, 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 bum. And so you can mix this up into however many different combinations you can do. But then it gets more complicated, or it gets even faster too, because there's also 8th notes, 16th notes, and I'm pretty sure 38 or 32nd notes. And I don't think it gets higher than that, but those get really hard, like those get really fast. And I've actually seen 16th notes in violin like pieces. So yeah, those get pretty hard and complicated quickly. So when it comes to all this notes or whatever, there's also what's called breaks, where what a break essentially is when you're not playing. It's intentionally where you're not playing anything. So the breaks essentially kind of tie in similarly with like the notes. So a half break is similar to a half note. Whole break is similar to a whole note, and it's just like a 30-second break is similar to a 30-second note. It's kind of similar, and that is how to music. Even though that this expression makes me cringe. So yeah, if you want to learn more about guitar theory, any sort of music theory or whatever, then comment below. My name is Phillip Earl, and thank you very much.